In tonight's discussion, we want to talk about effective communication as it affects the solar industry or as it affects the business of solar. Firil, would you love to see my face because I didn't want to put on camera. Can you see my face?
Yes. I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm saying that in tonight's discussion, we want to talk about effective communication as it relates to the solar industry. And effective communication, if somebody asks you what is the meaning, is just your ability to communicate with people. Assuming if you are in a family, you and your husband, maybe you and your wife, and there is no communication, effective communication, you people might be misunderstanding yourselves. If you are in any society and the person communicating or the leader is not communicating effectively, there will always be misunderstanding. Mr. A will not understand Mr. B. Mr. B will not understand Mr. C. So as such, there will be disharmony in the society because communication is what enables two or more people to flow in harmony. Firil, are you with me?
Yes. I'm hearing you clearly.
Okay.
You're explaining.
As it concerns the solar industry, you need to learn how to communicate effectively. It's not about speaking big grammar. It's not about using good English. It's about communicating the language, the English, the vocabs we have in the solar industry. Assuming, let me take for example, a client come to your office and asks you, I need solar system for my electrical load. He has just declined he has just made a statement. To the client, anything goes. He needs solar. He does not understand anything about solar, but he has been seeing people install solar, or he or she is having challenge powering his electrical load. Maybe there is epileptic power supply in his or her own facility, and he or she is coming to you as a professional to seek for your help, to consult you, or to tell you, okay, this is my problem. I need a solution. Professionally speaking, you need to first of all attend to him, give him a seat, welcome him into your office, introduce your business. I believe that is a very nice approach. Firil, I want to understand you are following me.
Yeah, I'm very much following you.
Yes,
that's
if somebody comes into your office, he needs your services. He wants you to solve his own problem. He's having challenge with solar system, or he wants to go solar. He wants to go solar, and he's coming to your own office, your own company, and is asking you, sir, I need solar. I have problem with solar, or I have problem generating power for my own electrical loads. There is an approach you have to adopt, and you have to communicate effectively. That is the only time the clients and you will be able to flow on the same pace. It will not be professional for you to start telling him, we have this and this, or your solar will cost you this. You need to understand his level is, maybe whether he has known anything about solar. You need to equally educate him very, not in detail per se. You need to tell him how solar works. You need to let him understand the different types of solar system installation and how the different types of solar system installation will affect the price that you will give him. By so doing, you'll be able to flow with the client, and the client will be able to understand why the cost will be different if he's going for the different sizes or the different types of the solar system that we have. If the client is not able to understand the different types of solar system that we have, the associated advantage or advantages and the disadvantages of each of the solar system that we have, it will be very difficult for you to, for him or for you as the consultant to arrive at a logical conclusion, because the client first does not understand what you're about to give him, and you'll be struggling to convince him on the cost. But if you as a professional is smart enough to first of all educate the client on the different types of solar system installation, the advantages and the disadvantages, and the associated costs that goes with each of the type of solar system that we have, the client will be able to follow you logically. Else, you'll be wasting your time trying to communicate, trying to convince the client, trying to tell him why maybe 5 kVA is costing a particular amount of money, why 10 kVA is costing a particular amount of money. Equally, we are not talking about the size of the solar system installation. You should equally be able to communicate with your client to tell him the different materials that will affect the cost of the solar system installation. Maybe if you check in the solar industry or in the solar markets, you will agree with me that we have different brands. I don't know if you are from Zimbabwe, from Nigeria, I don't know the brands, the solar component brands that you are familiar with. Assuming I want to install a 5 kVA system and I'm presenting a quotation to my client and I'm giving him a particular cost for this 5 kVA solar system installation, maybe 48 volts, 5 kVA with maybe 9 solar panels. But in the other way around, because of the load that the client is using, I'm using maybe 12 or 15 solar panels, and I'm not using lead acid battery. I'm using lithium ion battery. I should, as a professional, also be able to communicate effectively to the client so that he will understand why the price of quotation A is different from the price of quotation B. In this way, I will be able to educate the client, let him understand when we are talking about durability of the solar components. I should be able to communicate effectively with the client to at least let him understand why the cost of quotation A is different from the cost of quotation B. So most people that maybe they are complaining that they have been submitting quotation, they can send in like 5 quotation in a month, and nobody maybe approves or contract them to install solar system for them, is because of lack of proper or effective communication. Frankly speaking, I don't like writing too much quotation. I only have an estimate of the cost of different sizes of solar system installation, because writing quotation might take you like 3-5 hours to finish writing. If you really want to be detailed, writing quotation might take you like 3 or 5 hours if you really want to be detailed. So imagine spending 5 hours every day to write quotation that will not fly. It's going to drain you. It's going to discourage you. So what I do before I can send in a quotation, I have to first of all educate the client. I only give estimate. Even if you check my status, I make those estimates available to everybody, so that if you are talking of 5 kVA solar system installation, I've already given you an estimate. That is not the real quotation. So that when you chat me up, then you send in. Some people, it's very difficult for them to fill the power audit form, tell you the time of the day or night they will be using the solar system, tell you the different electrical load that they will be running with the solar system, and equally tell you maybe the duration of usage of each of the solar system. So if you chat me up that you need a 5 kVA system, I'll tell you, okay, sir, I have an estimate for you that will take care of your electrical load, but let me just send you the estimate first. People that really need to continue the conversation will tell you, okay, send the estimate, I will send it. When I send it, you tell me, okay, this price is too much. I'll tell you that is not even the price, so that is an estimate. You have, maybe if I'm sending you 5 million, I don't know how much is 5 million in your country. I'll tell you that for 5 kVA, we have normal 5 kVA with 4 lead acid battery. We can equally have 5 kVA with 8 lead acid battery. We can equally have 5 kVA with 12 lead acid battery. So, and each time I increase the number of solar or lead acid battery I'm using, I will equally increase the number of solar panels I will be using to adequately charge the solar battery. So we will go into conversation so as to be able to let the clients understand exactly what he or she is about to go into. So when I'm done with that, I will equally give him another option that, in addition to using lead acid battery, we have another brand of battery. We have like lithium ion battery. And I will equally tell him the advantage and disadvantages of using lead acid battery as against lithium ion battery. Then I will equally go down to let him understand, he or she understand, that we have different solar components in the solar industry, which will equally affect the quotation that I will send. So, and before I will even send the quotation, I will equally plead with him to fill my power audit form. By so doing, I've been able to establish a level playing ground between me and my clients or my prospects so that I would be able to communicate with him effectively. Because I've been hearing people say they have been sending quotation to clients, 10 quotation, and none of the quotation is flying. One of the reasons why those quotations are not flying is because you have not been able to communicate with the client effectively. So you notice that if you follow that my approach, if 50% chats you up, if 50 people chat you up for a quotation, by the time they tell you, by the time you send them your ready-made, maybe your estimate, and it is 5 million, somebody who does not even have 1 million to start with will not bother progressing or moving to the next level of the conversation. He will look at the money you are sending, and he will check his pocket, check his bank account, and it is not something he can afford. That is where the conversation will stop. That is where the conversation will stop. Please, are we on the same page? You can unmute yourself and say, let me know that everybody, we are on the same page. You are following up with what I am discussing.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Any question?
Yes, we are following.
Any question? Any question? Please, let's be interactive. We are talking about the topic of tonight. What we are going to discuss tonight is on effective communication. We are not talking about speaking good English here. We are not talking about how fluent you are in your grammar or your spoken words. We are talking about being professional when you are communicating with your clients. For the sake of those that came in late, please, somebody is raising his hand. Power line. That is the name I'm seeing. You have any question? Do you have any question? Okay, let's continue. So for the sake of those that are joining us late, we want to start a journey on how to educate our audience on how to communicate effectively, how to raise capital for their business, how to take the lead in the solar industry. And one of the problems with some people, some professionals, people who claim they know how to install, is the inability to communicate effectively with their clients. And I've given an analogy, a scenario in which a client chats me up and he or she is in need of a quotation. Maybe he comes to my office and he's coming for an inquiry. Maybe he's having power problem in his own facility, epileptic power supply or total blackout. And he visits us maybe in our office for solution to the problem. Maybe he has not known anything about the solar energy, or maybe he has been hearing about it. Then I started by saying that as courtesy demands, if you have a customer coming into your office, the very first thing is to attend to him, give him a seat, and ask him how your brand can be of help to him or her. Normally, he will tell you that he needs solar for his facility, and what would be of importance to him or her is how much is the cost. Most of them will tell you, I'm living in a 1-bedroom flat. or I'm living in 5-bedroom flats, or I want to power my fridge and my AC. So, and I've equally said that most people submit 10 quotes, and at the end of the day, none of the quotes will fly because they are too fast to submit quotation. It's not everybody that chats you up for quotation that really mean business. And I have already said that for you to finish writing a professional quotation, it might take you like 5 to 6 or 7 hours, depending on the size of the solar system installation. So I use my own approach as an example that before I'll send you quotation, I'll first of all send you a ready-made estimate that will inform you of the financial obligation that will be involved. So if 50 people chat you up and they need quotation, by this time you send them the ready-made estimate, you see that 10 people will not chat you up again. That will reduce the number of people that you'll be talking to. So equally, if a client comes to your office and he asks you, I need solar, maybe he doesn't know anything about solar, how solar works, how the cost is. So as a professional, you don't just jump into telling him or her the cost of maybe 5 kVA, 10 kVA, or 15 kVA or 2.5 kVA. You should first of all educate him so that two of you can be on the same page. I love it when I'm talking and my client is following me or is understanding me, because it will be very difficult for me to convince a client who is not able to communicate with me. That is my own approach. So I'll first of all try to, in psychology, when you are talking to people, you should be able to follow the trend of the conversation. So you should try to understand whether this person maybe doesn't know anything about solar. You should try to get information. You are not asking him, do you know anything about solar? But with the line of the communication you'll be engaging him or her, you should be able to know his level, whether he doesn't know anything about solar, whether to some extent he knows solar, whether to some extent he has been using solar before, whether to some extent is even an engineer that is just coming to your office to while away time or to waste your time. So all these things will enable you understand the line of communication you will use with the person. Assuming you notice that this person does not know anything about solar, the very first thing you should do is to educate him very small about how solar works, the different components that we have, what differentiates this particular component from this other component, then the different types of solar system installation that we have, the advantage and the disadvantages of each, the advantages and the disadvantages of each of the solar system installation type that we have, and how this type of solar system affects the costs of each of the solar system type, how each of the products, the components that you will use will equally play a role on the cost of the solar system installation that you might give to the client, how the duration of usage of each of the electrical load will affect the cost of the solar system installation you will give, how the time of usage of each of the electrical load will affect the costs of the solar system installation that you will give to the client. Don't forget, we are talking about effective communication as it affects the success or what you get in the solar industry. You might be asking me, the story is too much. Somebody came for an inquiry, and why will you be wasting all this time? That I can do in just 10 minutes. What I've just said now, I can summarize it in just 10 minutes. When I finish talking, I will then ask the client, what is your budget? And before I even do that, with those information, that client will know exactly where he belongs, whether he will need solar kits, whether he will need 0.5 kVA, whether he will need 1 kVA, or whether his budget will not even be enough to even get solar kits. Because there are some people that most times I see some people, they come to you, I need solar. When you tell them the price, they will laugh at you. You say how much? You say 5 million. He will ask you, do you mean 50,000 or 5 million? You tell him, please, I'm saying 5 million. He will look at you and laugh and leave your office. So all these things, so that you don't waste your time, you need to learn how to communicate effectively with your client, so that you don't end up wasting your precious time writing quotation, sending to people. Maybe somebody that is maybe 20 years is still feeding from his parents' pot. Maybe you run advert, he sees you online and he chats you up. Maybe there's no power in the way he's staying to use and be playing or using it on laptop or play his DSTV or what is it called? A sound system. He will say, I need solar, because he has seen you online. He's just making inquiry. Then can you send me quotation? Then you start wasting your time to be writing quotation without communicating with him first to know whether is your prospect. It's not everybody that chats you up, I need a quotation, that you should send quotation, because I don't think that is the professional way. You should be able to communicate effectively before you send quotation, or you should equally be able to communicate effectively. What will differentiate professional A from professional B, what will make clients stick to you or follow you, is your ability to communicate with them effectively. I'm not talking about how good your English is, even though you use pidgin, even though you use your own dialects. What I'm talking here, what I'm referring here to you, what I'm talking about here is whether you are using your own dialects, you are using pidgin, you are using English, you should be able to educate your clients so that you and him can be on the same page. Effective communication, as it affects your success in the solar industry. Okay, effective communication as it relates to the solar industry. That is one way that you can communicate effectively with your clients. That is during the project initiation stage. That is during the project initiation stage. After the project initiation stage, if you are able to win it, and communication can help you get more contracts, and it can reduce your workload stress, because like I already said, 50 people chat you up, or 50 people come to your office for quotation. Because before you think of executing any project, you have to always pass through the different stages. You cannot just start projects without following due process. Somebody just come to your office and he's talking about installing solar system. The next hour, he'll send you maybe the advance. No, you might collect that advance, and at the end of the day, you regret. Maybe there are some unforeseen scenarios that might be on site. You have not visited the site, and you collect the money to execute the project. When you get to site, the data, the information you might have been thinking would be constant, would vary. So when it varies like that, you equally have to vary your design. So I was talking about a scenario where your client, because that is the very first place, that is the very first step where you are establishing communication. A client chats you up, or you talk to a client about solar, or a client visits your office or your company for any solar project. So that is the very first place that communication begins. And the one thing about human is, irrespective of what you are saying, whether it is documented, written down in black and white or not, people can always tell you what the agreement was. So when you are trying to communicate with your client, please ensure that you communicate effectively. Always let them understand what is ahead, what is in front of them, is what you people are going to do, the terms and conditions. For people that doesn't know anything about solar, please start first by educating them. Don't waste your precious time writing quotations that will not fly. Most times, most times they chat me up online, I need quotation. When I look at maybe you submit it, you tell me there is a project on ground that needs people to bid for that project. Most time when I look at the project that I don't have anybody that will push my own quotation, I will tell you, will you pay? Because most of those projects will amount to maybe 100 kVA, 200 kVA. And for you to sit down and write such quotation will take your time. Most times, those people that are telling you to write that quotation, they are just following your hand. They just want you to write that quotation. They carry it, go and submit it, remove your name, put their own, submit. If they think jail, now them could collect the contract, they will not call you again. So we have seen plenty things online. We have seen plenty things in the physical space. Sometimes you write quotation, give the prospect. Before you know it, you will not hear anything about that quotation again. The next thing you'll be hearing is when you drive past his own facility, you notice that he has installed solar in his own facility using the quotation you sent to him, or you spend your time. The worst case is when you write the brand that you want to use. Maybe if you want to use Felicity, you write the Felicity 5 kVA, lithium ion battery, maybe Felicity 5 kVA, solar panel. You write maybe Jingo solar panel 5 kVA, you put all the price. Before you know it, they know where they buy all these components. They will go there and buy it. If your own workmanship was 300,000, they will look for somebody who can collect maybe 100,000, install the system, and he will start enjoying solar and he will forget about it. But they will forget that you are the person that spend your time to write quotation. So how does effective communication plays critical role when you are addressing or you are talking to your clients? One, it will help the client understand what he or she is into. I've just finish talking about the project conceptualization or the initial stage of the project negotiation, whereby you need to educate the client. So the next step is, okay, you people have agreed on what the client needs, what the client will be powering with the solar system. The next stage is you should be able to communicate with the client that if it is a project that you will need to visit the site, because when I send in quotation to people that I don't know, I will just tell them, okay, this quotation I'm sending is just an estimate of how much it will cost you if you are using this particular one, but there are other variations in the quotation if you want to go solar. When you are ready to go solar, I will need you to fill this audit form. I will need to visit your site so that I can know exactly the quotation I'll send to you. Whether I am in your state or I'm not in your state, at least we have people, students that we are communicating effectively, that if we tell them, okay, please, can you help us do power audits on a client facility in your state, they will agree with us to help us do that. The next stage is I want to come for energy audits in your facility. And I'm in Akwa Ibom State and you are in Rivers State. Is it my place, or you are in maybe Enugu and I'm in Akwa Ibom State? I'll need to transport myself to your state, come and lodge in a hotel, pay for other logistics, then do the audit. I should equally be able to communicate effectively with the client, because a client that is telling you to submit quotation, there is 90% probability that that project will not be executed by you. Yes, if a client tell you, okay, submit quotation, and you notice that you will need to transport yourself from one state or two states to another, and you need to take care of other logistics, come back, sit down and write quotation and send to the client. I don't think it is your place to bear the burden of the running cost, the logistic of the power audit or energy audit, because there is every tendency, there is 80% probability that when you finish running around doing all the expenses, the project might not be visible for the client, or he might choose to give it to his brother or his relative to execute it, but you are the one that is doing the spending. So this is another way you have to learn how to communicate with clients and get some token so that you use it and finance the project. We want to be talking about smart saving. I don't believe it will be wisdom for me to use my own money that I made somewhere to use it and transport myself to a project site that I'm not sure I will be the one to execute the project. I don't think a medical doctor will use his money. If you are sick, then he will transport himself to your own house to come and attend to your health. I don't think a lawyer will follow you to the law, to the law court and stand for you without you paying the lawyer or the medical doctor. But I believe the solar industry is flooded with people who don't understand how to run business. I've been seeing people say, I'll use my money, come and do power audits, come and do everything and submit quotation. I don't think that is a professional way. We have been running mega projects. We have been doing mini grids, commercial solar system installation. I don't think there has been any day that those maybe companies that we work for will tell us to use our own money. If we are using our own money, we are very sure that we are 100% sure that we are the people that will execute that project. So immediately those companies tell you, okay, use your own money, finance maybe the power audits exercise. If there is need for roof maintenance, use your own money, do roof overhaul. If the roof needs some adjustment or anything you can think of, use your own money to do it. There is 100% probability that you are the person that will execute the project. So this is where effective communication comes in. Try to always, because if I'm to transport myself from my state to maybe Enugu, River State, plus or minus, I'll spend my time. I'll spend not less than 10,000 naira. If I'm to lodge, that means I will spend more than 20,000 naira to execute maybe the power audit exercise. Then at the end of the day, I'll go back to my house, sit down, waste my time to write quotation just to submit it to maybe a prospect that might not necessarily have me at his own, maybe I'm the priority. So you finish doing all these things, at the end of the day, you don't get this project. If you do it like that to 3 clients, I believe you might have spent 100,000 naira without getting return on investment. So how does effective communication help you cut down on your expenditure when you are approaching clients? You should be able to communicate effectively to your will-be client that it is not your responsibility to take care of that logistic, to spend that money. It is their project, so it is their place to spend the money when you are going for power audit. Some people say, okay, writing quotation should be free, but sometimes you are going to spend your time to do all these things, and at the end of the day, you are not sure whether your effort will yield any result. So it is important to us to always communicate effectively. Let's move to the next step, which is you are on site. You are about to carry out the power audits exercise, and you need the client's inputs. There is no site that you go to that you will not need the client's input before you can effectively communicate, take the necessary data before you can size your solar system installation. So when you visit a site, always have it at the back of your mind that you are not going to work alone. You don't just enter somebody's facility and start doing power audits, start measurement, start doing this thing. You should always communicate with the clients. Let the client understand the reason why you are doing a particular thing, why you are doing what you are doing, why you are asking him how many hours will he be using maybe his AC, and let him or her understand how those hours will affect the solar system design, the costs, and the materials that you will use during the project. And equally, we all know that the materials you choose for any solar system installation affects the durability, the functionality of your solar system installation. This is where effective communication also plays vital role. This is where effective communication also plays vital role. You should not be in a haste to maybe get contract from clients. At the end of the day, at the end of the project, you regret venturing into such project because some clients are very, I don't know how to put it. They don't want you to go home with anything. They will tell you, they will want you to do everything. At the end of the day, you go empty-handed. When issues arise, they will expect you to still use your money, come and maybe resolve the issue. And at the end of the day, they will tell you, you are the one that installed it now, so it is your place to maintain it. So always communicate effectively when you are on site, when you are doing power audits. Please, are we still hearing me? Are we still on the same page?
Very well, Engineer Sanga.
Is there any question? I've said that if a client tell you, okay, come for power audit, because this has been a major cause of concern, or this has been causing so much issues in the solar industry. Somebody needs a quotation and you tell the person, will you pay for the quotation? He will tell you, why should I pay for quotation? You are the one that will do the work. And most times you hear somebody or somebody wants to give you a contract and he will tell you, you tell the person, I want to come for power audit. I will need logistics to come for power. He will tell you, no, it's your work now. You are the one that will do it. Is it right? I'm throwing this as a question. Let's deliberate. Let's not be that I'm the only person talking. Is it right in all cases? Because I'm not saying, please listen, I'm not saying this is applicable in all cases. There are some power audits that we go to. If the place is close by that, we know that if we spend 1,000 naira or 2,000 naira, it can take us there and take us back. It's okay. We don't necessarily have to ask a client for logistics. But if it is something that you are going to spend like 10, 20,000 naira, travel from one state to another, is it wise? Is it wisdom? Is it business wise for you to use your own money to do it? Or submitting quotation, is it right for us to charge for quotation? Because if you are able to communicate effectively, some clients will be willing to bring out money to at least give you for logistics if you want to go for power audits. Most times we charge people for our quotation. If we look at the quotation and it's something like 15 kV and you don't want to go with our normal quotation, we tell you, sir, will you pay? So it is about how you are able to communicate with the client. So let me hear your own opinion.
Good evening, Engineer Sanga.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, please, I want to ask if one can conduct a virtual audit, like via video call. Can you go around, go to this also place? Let me see what you have there. Let me, like, for instance, it's an household, maybe a 2-3 bedroom. So, and it's in another state. I'm in Lagos. Somebody want me to run an audit for him in Ibadan. And I said, okay, when you get home, instead of me to come over and you want me to prepare a quotation for you, a bill, and when you get to your house, just take a video around your house. I'll be able to know what you have. So what do you advise against that?
Yes, it's possible. Most times you don't need to, if it is a residential setup, it is cost effective to educate the clients on how it can feed you with vital information that will help you do quotation for him or her. So there's no wrong, there's no bad because it's only 5 kVA. So, and it is a residential in which you can always know how to do plus or minus to take care of the unforeseen circumstances. So you can enlighten the client on what the information, the data he should provide you with. Do a video call and that is okay.
Thank you very much, engineer.
Right. Please, any other question or any contribution?
Good evening, engineer. My name is
Okay.
Daniel, DBC. Well,
You're
you asked
welcome.
a question.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You asked a question whether it is right to always charge for audit. I would say yes, it is right for. I had an experience like that recently. The owner of the job is not in Nigeria, it's outside country, and he wants me to go to his village from where I am in Kwara State to where the person is about 4 hours drive. So to and fro will be 8 hours. So I told him, well, since it's an audit I want to go, can you provide me funds to go to and fro with logistic? He said, how much? I told him 120,000. We'll do everything for it. The next thing he told me, he will get back to me. Only for me to call him again. He said they told him that in their village they have people that can do it, so I should not bother. So imagine situation if I have used that my own money and travel to that village to do the power audit and do everything. What happened to my money? It will have gone to charity, just to say. Yes, charity will have just collected the money. Because that's how he's going to tell me that the village also have experts that can do it.
Okay.
So that will have been it. So sometimes if it is a far journey, what I always do, if it's more than 30 minutes drive, I will charge for the audit. But if they can do it via virtual, it's also allowed. We can do it, and they also pay for my data that we use for it.
So your own, you will pay for your data.
Yes.
That is serious. Okay.
I have a little experience that we just do it and they will not bother to. So let us do it the right professional way and get whatever. So at the end of the day, if we do the audit and you see what you need and say you are not calling me to handle it, I have not lose because I've already done whatever I want to do and I've charged it for it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. That is true because most times, even though you go for that audit, come back, do the quotation, submit it. If you don't have somebody that will speak for you, those people can tell you, sir, we have other professionals in the village. Why do you want to ship this thing to somebody outside the state? You don't want your brother to chop. And that is how your money, your stress will go. I'm not saying that. In fact, there is no possibility of you calling me in another state. If it is within Akwa Ibom state, I can manage and maybe use my own money, or the company can take charge of the logistics. But if it is outside the state, there's no way you will tell me to go out and do power audits, come back and you don't pay. It is not wisdom. But if it is within the states, it all depends on the approach. It all depends on the approach. There are some people that maybe they have already, you had already worked for them. If it is people that there is this thing we are saying, we are not saying is a must or in all cases. If it is your customer, your client, that you have been, maybe you have done his own electrical, you have done his CCTV, you have done maybe 1 or 2 projects for him. Okay, at least you made some money from that client. So if he's telling you, okay, I want I want a power audit. I want to install solar in another facility. I want to know the cost, and it's not necessary for you to still ask him of logistic. I don't know whether I have made myself clear.
Yes.
I don't know whether I've made myself clear.
I'm clear.
So it is yes, it is not in all cases that you insist that the client should give you money for logistic. It depends on maybe your relationship with the client, and equally, because if it is a project of like 10 kV or 20 kV, and because of insisting that they must give you money for audit, you lose that project, you regret it. So that is, and you should be able to communicate with the client why you need some logistic to finance the project. So we are still talking about effective communication and how it affects your progress in the solar industry. That is for the power audit stage. Another stage, because all these things we are talking about, all those information we have been hammering on, maybe during the free training, during the paid version of the training, there are the different stages when it has to do with this industry, solar system installation. So I'm trying to take it bit by bit. You are finished with the project's conceptualization or prospecting, meeting your client, talking to your client. The next stage is you move to the power audit stage, and when you finish with that, you come back, design the system, send in a quotation to the client. Most people love writing like 3 or 4 different versions of quotation. Most people will write just one quotation, and they will use that one quotation to explain subsequent options that might be available for the client. In any case, in either of the approach you are using, you should be able to communicate effectively with the client, because most clients are of the habit of getting quotes from more than 5 different people or different brands. They will tell you submit quotation, you will submit. They will tell another person submit quotation, they will submit, and the clients will put those quotations side by side. And most times what the client is always interested in, what the client is most times interested in, is how much is involved, the total sum of the project. Client that doesn't know anything about the solar industry will not spend his time to analyze the quotation. All he or she is interested is how much is involved. Another thing that might or will help you get a particular contract irrespective of the cost is, do you have anybody there? Do you have anybody that will tell the client, no, give this person? He's the only person that can do this thing. You see, this money is huge. So this person, I trust him, he can deliver. So with that, you don't need to do so much talking. But in a situation whereby you don't have Mr. A, you don't have Mr. B, you don't have Mr. C, you just submit your quotation and pray over the quotation. You need to communicate effectively with the client. You need to communicate effectively with the client. Forget about how much your cost is. Your ability to educate the client will help you have an upper hand when you submit quotation. For example, you are submitting a quotation of 5 million, another person is submitting a quotation of maybe 4.5 million, and another person is submitting a quotation of 4 million. Please, for the people that are not from Nigeria, please pardon me. I might not be able to do the conversion. Naira, I'm talking about Naira here, 5 million, 4 million, 4.5 million, you should be able to have a little clue to what I'm saying. So assuming you are submitting a quotation of 5 million, your own is the highest. Your own is the highest. If I'm to maybe say that, okay, that is the highest cost going by other people's quotation. Then contractor B is submitting a quotation of 4 million. Contractor C is submitting a quotation of 4.5 million. And the client is to make decision. It is most times it's not about how much quotation you submit. It is about your ability to communicate with your client effectively, to let him understand why your quotation is like that, let him understand the scope of work, let him understand the materials you use, and also give him the assurance that you are going to build a solar system that will give him return on investment. You have finished submitting a quotation of 5 million. The other contractor B submitted a quotation of 4.5. Contractor C submitted a quotation of maybe 4 million. Then contractor contractor B and contractor C, they have submitted their quotation. They go to sleep. They are busy doing other things, moving from A to C or from point A to point B without following up with the quotation they submit. I've said when we started that most people that submit quotation get discouraged because they submit maybe 10 or 50 quotation and none of those quotation will see the light of the day. These are some of the secrets that you might have not been aware of. When you submit quotation, don't just forget about that. I've submitted quotation. You start praying about that quotation. I'm not saying prayer will not work, but it is your place to understand that when you submit quotation, you need to recharge your phone, call the client, and let him have first-hand information. Educate him on solar system, educate him on the different components, equally educate him on why you are choosing the components you are choosing, and also give him alternatives if his budget cannot carry the cost that you have presented to him. Also, I promise him that if he needs other alternative, you are ready to always provide. So we are talking about effective communication and how it affects your success and failure in the solar industry. And I'm talking about, first thing, you need to talk to your prospects, or you do prospecting. After that, you still need to communicate when you need to go for power audit. After that, you have finished writing quotation. That is another stage. And you have submitted the quotation. You don't need to go and sleep, because if you go and sleep, they will throw that your quotation to the dustbin. So you need to, a follow-up is always very important to give your quotation the lights, or for your quotation to be approved. You need to follow up. You need to communicate with the client. You need to tell the client why your quotation is the best because of the quality that you are about giving to him, and how your product or service will solve his or her problem. We are still talking about effective communication. If you just submit quotation and you go and sleep, or you are not able to communicate effectively, with the client, and it might paralyze your success getting the solar contract. Please, are we on the same page? I hope
Yeah.
some
Yes.
people are sleeping.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Kazim, are you with me? Tunde, are you with me? Salami, are you with me? Daniel, are you with me?
We can hear you.
Okay, so is there any question? I'm talking about when you finish with Power Audit, you need to submit quotation. And
Yes,
when
I'm
you,
with you.
yes, when you submit quotation, you need to follow up with the quotation. You need to follow up with the quotation. It is not, we know that it is not all the quotation that you submit that you win the contract, but all these things, effective communication will always assist you, help you always have more success than failure rates when it has to do with the solar industry. Most times you talk about maybe you want to give a client lithium-ion battery, you want to give a client lead-acid battery. You should be able to communicate with the client why he should go for lead-acid battery, why he should go for lithium-ion battery. You want to give a client maybe DAE inverter, Vitron inverter, maybe Felicity inverter. You don't just put those components and put their prices sent to a client. You should be able to communicate with the client why you are choosing the particular component you are choosing for the solar system design. Let him be the one that tell you, no, my money cannot afford that. Then you go with what his money can afford. All these are different ways you are communicating with your clients. You are communicating effectively with your client. Let your client, please always let your client be part and parcel of the project. I repeat, always let your clients be part and parcel of what you are doing. Don't just submit quotation, make all the decisions alone. Let him have some input during the project's conceptualization, during power audit, during material selection, then during quotation and every other thing. Please, are we on the same page? Then after that, you move to procurement of materials, you move to maybe installation, then you equally move to commissioning, and finally, you hand over the project to the client. You hand over the project to the client. Most times, end users contribute to the failure of the solar system installation. I repeat myself, most times, 50% of the failed solar system installation we have can be attributed to the end user's ignorance or inability to understand how to manage the solar system. And as a professional, you don't just install. When you finish installation, it is your place to educate your client. It is your place to tell your clients how to manage power. It is your place to educate the clients how to switch off some breakers, how to on some breakers, and keep on following up with the performance of the solar system installation. Keep on, if it is a solar system installation that you can monitor remotely, always log into the portal and monitor the usage, monitor the production, monitor the state of charge, depth of discharge of the battery, and communicate with the client effectively. All these things will add to the success of any project that you embark upon. Because one thing is very sure, one thing is paramount. if you install a solar system for a client and it takes like 5 years for that system to develop faults, at least that client will recommend you to more people to do business with you. But if maybe it is not that you did a bad job, or you did not select the best materials, your materials were okay, you did a nice job, but because of abuse, customers' abuse of the solar system, the system fell, the clients will not understand that. So you need to always communicate effectively, educate your clients on how to manage power, what to do at each point. There are some solar system installation that you might check the rooftop. When you look at the panels, you notice that something is wrong somewhere. Maybe the person, the professionals, the only thing he did was to install the solar system, and after installation of the solar system, he does not even remember that he did such project or in that kind of location. So it is your place to always call your clients, communicate, sir. This panel, it has been 6 months, we did maintenance. This your panel will need washing. And you let him understand why he or she needs to maintain the solar panels. If you have been in the industry, I don't want to go into that. You understand why maintaining, cleaning the solar panels is so important to the success, the durability of the solar system installation. So you need to communicate. I'm not saying most time when you go for the maintenance just to wash solar panel, you must charge your client. But if it requires you rent a scaffold, if it's depending on the location of the panels, there's need for the client to contribute. And through effective communication, you'll be able to always be the best brand before some of your clients. Be the best brand, because a situation in which you always communicate with your clients, whether he's calling you for a new contract or he's not calling you for a new contract, once in a while you call the client, sir, I wanted to check on you. How is the baby boy? How is the system that we install? I hope all is well, there's no problem. All these things will give the client an impression that you really value the success of the solar system installation, and he will equally recommend you for other people. This is where we will draw a curtain on tonight's session. All we are looking at is we cannot do this thing alone, and we like sharing some of the vital information that will help other people succeed, because we want the best. We want to eradicate quackery in the industry. We want people, maybe we have been seeing some people that are into the industry and they are struggling. We are coming up with a different concept, smart saving. How can you save as an installer? You have installed for 1 year. What can you boast of? Is it that they have not been paying you well? If solar is not paying you well, you can equally look for an additional source of income. But irrespective of the business that you are doing, I'm very optimistic that we have people that are just starting in this industry. They don't have any capital, they don't have any connection, they don't have any office. Most times they are not professional. So all this information we are giving, is not everybody that needs our information. So all this information we are giving will help those people that are beginners in the industry know how to navigate. I'm shocked this morning, one guy paid for our consulting services. Before you know it, it was just a day or 2 days class I gave to him. When we started, he told me, sir, I don't have, your consulting is too high, 200,000. I told him it's for complete 1 year. We will tell you how to set up your brand, and even though you don't have capital, you don't even need capital to start. When he chatted me up, he was telling me, sir, I need like 3 million to start. I don't have office, I don't have product. I asked him, you don't need all those things. Why do you need, do you know how to do it? He said he's an electrician. I said, yeah, yes, that is okay. And you want to be doing solar as well? He said, yes, okay. Oh, if that's the case, your skill is your capital. He says, sir, that thing is not like that. I told him, no, that is the concept. With your skill, you'll be able to build your brand. You'll be able to maybe come from where you are to another level. This morning, he chatted me up that, sir, that information you gave me, those things we were discussing, I don't have capital. How can I start? I told him, okay, first of all, you don't have capital, but you can start operating from your house. Any small money you have, save it. I do not even believe that in less than 3 months, you will have products, goods worth millions of naira. Like he sent me video today, I was shocked. So some people might not need, and when it happens like that, we are happy that we are able to change the narratives of some people. Because now, as we are talking, he's telling me, sir, next, in no distant time, he's going to get an office. And if he gets an office now, move those goods to the office now. He's on. He don't finish, or he don't start solar business. He don't start electrical shop. If he continues like that, the next 5 years, that guy will be big shot when it has to do with this solar business. You might be having 100,000 naira, 50,000 naira, and you think, what can this 50,000 naira do for me? If you just maybe if you have 50,000 naira and you don't know what to use it for, you just use it and buy maybe 2 charge controller or any solar component or any solar product that you have. You keep it in less than no time. You keep on doing like that, even though you have office or you don't have office. Gradually you start having component that if a client tell you, instead of wasting that money, you can start saving it on components. Instead of wasting that money, me, I don't like saving money in bank because I'm into business. When you save money in bank, what do bank do? They use that money and make more money. So if I have money, any money that I'm not using, I rather see an opportunity, a different industry that I can invest this money. It must not be solar. There is an adage that says that you should not put all your eggs in one basket. So as you are investing in solar, when you invest in solar to a particular level, also look for another lucrative sector and invest your money. So we will be having this session like this occasionally. On Friday, we have another session in which we will be talking about smart savings. There are many ways you can save. Me, I've been in the ICT industry, and if I have money in the solar industry, I prefer saving it in the ICT industry, because I know if I have 1 million naira now, I say, okay, I want to go into sales. I'd rather choose to invest it in this ICT industry than the solar industry. The reason is best known to me. So there is an industry that you might have been. You are in the solar industry, you are making money. There are some people that when they make money, they invest it in real estate. So all these things are ways, because one thing I was discussing with some of my guys is, you are in the solar industry, you are not earning salary, government is not paying you, and one day you will be old and maybe you will not be relevant again in the solar industry. Where will you run to at old age? So this is one of the reasons we are coming up with the smart saving approach, so that as we are educating people on how to make money in the solar industry, we are teaching people this skill. We should also encourage them to look for other ways that they have invested in knowledge. They should equally look for other ways that they can invest their money for the future. For the future, maybe you need to pay rent, you need to pay house rent, you need to pay for shop rent. You have not gotten a shop before. Every month you are having like 80,000 naira, 50,000 naira, 100,000 naira. How much is shop? You can start saving. You can start saving, and gradually within 6 months, you'll be shocked that you might have your shop without getting a loan. You have a shop of your own. And when you have a shop of your own, you gradually grow. And before you know it, you will see that it is not actually capital that is the problem with many people. It's just about your ability to know how to control or how to work with the little that you have. So this is where we are going to draw a curtain on tonight's session. Frankly speaking, we have different people that will be coming up to say one or two things when it comes to communication, savings, and the rest. So we urge you to always be attentive. Sorry for tonight. Network was giving us some challenges connecting. That is the reason we dropped the link late. So we really appreciate your time. We appreciate your effort. We appreciate your investment, and we are optimistic that this information will be of great value, will be used as it is intended. And I want to have one or two questions. If you have any question to ask, the floor is open before we draw a curtain on tonight's session. And mind you, when we talk about effective communication, like what I rightly said before now, when we talk about effective communication, please, we are not talking about how fluent you are. You are good at speaking good grammar. No, that is not what we are saying. We are talking about if you are using your dialect, if you are using English, you are using pidgin, you should be able to let you and your clients should be able to flow on the same level. Because if you meet a client now and you don't let him and you flow on the same level, it will be very difficult for you to convince him or her to buy from you. But if you first of all allow two of you to flow on the same level, it will be very easy for you to sell to the client. That is, most times we organize free training so that people can come in and we try to educate them on some concept before we sell our value to them. So thank you and remain blessed. I will want to listen to your own opinion, question, or if there is anything you want to contribute. The floor is open.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Engineer Sanga. We sincerely appreciate your gesture and the privilege you are giving us to attend this webinar tonight. You understand me? Subway Academy has been a very unique academy in the power sector, like we used to know you for. But my question now is, do you people have affiliation? My own question now is not about the communication topic you brought to us this evening. You understand me? My own question is, do you have affiliation with institutions? You understand me? Like the courses you are teaching us, those courses are amazing courses. You understand me? And you have good teachers, facilitators who are doing their best. You understand me? You have a kind of affiliation with institutions that can partner with. Are you getting now? That can issue certificates, and certificate will be more recognized both locally and internationally. That's my question for you.
Please come again.
I said, do you have connection or affiliation with institutions in Nigeria? You understand me? That can award certificates to your academy. Are you getting now?
Okay.
That will be a kind of synergy or affiliation. You understand me? That's what I'm saying.
Okay. You're asking whether we have connection with organization, government, parastatals that can we can work with that our own certificate can be recognized internationally. Is that your question?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, we have been working on that. It's only that there are many things on our table. Most times it's not about, okay, I understand you. We are working on that.
Okay.
So if you have any connection, you can link us up.
Okay. Anyway, there's and my issue is not about the issue of certificate, but I just feel that since the academy is doing best, you are doing your best, I just suggest that you people you have kind of affiliation.
Yeah,
I know
we are working on that.
The white mind doesn't prioritize certificate. They believe on what you can use your hand to do. And we are in the era of skills now, not in the era of certificates. I just feel like that. Something like that should happen.
Yes. No problem. Thank you. All right. Okay. Any other person? Thanks for the contribution. Okay, in the absence of any question, this is where we are going to draw a curtains on tonight's session. Another webinar or presentation will come up on Friday or before Friday. The person that was to do that presentation is a bit busy, and we always, please, we don't chat people up. We don't send you, if we send you link privately, you should verify whether it is from any of our admins. Most times we send links, if we have any meeting that we like, this one that we are doing, we drop the meeting on all the platforms, So please don't fall a victim of hackers calling you that there is a meeting organized by Subway Energy. No, we don't call people to tell them there is a meeting. We always drop the information, the meeting link on all our platforms, and we invite people to join our meeting. So please, let's always be very alert, and let's see what the future holds. Let's see what 2025 holds, because this is the right time for us to start planning for 2025. Let us invest in knowledge. Don't allow these small boys to scare you when it has to do with them, maybe clicking links or joining online platforms. I've learned virtually most of the things that I'm doing right now using the online platforms. So there's nobody that will be able to hack into my account, because I always work with caution. If I belong to any group, I always follow up with what is happening on the group when there is meeting, and I follow up with information. If you private chat me privately, drop me a link, I'll always verify from maybe a particular group. I'll check the group you are dropping. I'll check whether you are an admin in the group or whether you are not an admin in the group. I'll read the contents of this thing. If case not taken, I'll click on the group. I'll click on the link. I'll see where the link is taking me to. You don't just click on links and at the end of the day your phone, your WhatsApp is hacked. Is a process. So it is only when you give these people access to, they tell you send link. Why will you tell me, if you are the one sending me the link, you also tell me I should send back the link? If you're the one sending me the link, you should be able to have that link. So immediately you tell me there's a link in your phone, copy that and say, tell you, guys, look for another person. I'm not for that. Thank you, and have a lovely night rest. Remain blessed. Thank you.